Nobody's born incredible. People who do incredible things simply took the right steps.
This is our journey. This is the hunt for incredible.
In this episode, we continue our conversation with David Puckett. For a quick recap, David is the drummer of a band called We Came as Romans. They have over 1 billion streams across platforms and 2.3 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone. They had a sold-out headlining tour in both the US and Australia that did so well, they created a part 2 of the US tour, so be sure to check out those tickets if you haven't already. David's also an investor in 13 companies ranging from startups to growth stage companies, one of which is Cerebro. Now, Cerebro is a tech company that David and I are both invested in, which is actually how we connected. And the founder of Cerebro is Ryan Gerardo, who is the first guest on this show. He's episodes 1 and 2, where he talks about how he raised money for Mark Cuban and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. On top of all of this, David is the founding CEO of Hyperculture Marketing Group, which is a marketing agency that works with artists like Alicia Keys, Megan Thee Stallion, Motley Crue. The list goes on and on. An incredible roster. Now, in this episode, we talk about how David identifies opportunities and moves forward with those opportunities, the mental models that he uses to make progress and create things in the world. It's really impressive because David is a unique individual where he has the right brain creative as well as the left brain logical, and he meshes those two things really, really well to tackle things and succeed in things that are inherently higher risk than most people normally tackle. Being a musician, an investor in early stage companies, as well as being a company founder, an entrepreneur, those are all inherently high risk endeavors, and he's doing incredibly well at all of them. So I had a lot of fun teasing out how he thinks about those things. We even go on to talk about how he manages his time, how he fits all of that in the same 24-hour window that everyone else gets, as well as how he thinks of building teams and structuring his organization such that people are doing the tasks that they're the best at and enjoying the most. This has been one of my favorite episodes to record so far. I had a great time chatting with David and teasing these elements out. I hope you enjoy it. How do you think about delegating work out? Like when you say, okay, my schedule is too much, or we're scaling to the point where my team or I can't handle it on our own, we need to pull somebody else on and I need to give them work.
I think for me, it's there's two lenses that I try to look through. A, where am I the most effective for the company, right? For the betterment of everyone, right? Because like I want everyone on my team to win. I want everyone on my team to get paid well. I want to give the fattest raises every year that we possibly can. I want to do the biggest bonuses. I want to do the coolest trips with the team. And so when it just comes to like a cash flow perspective, where from a time in value out perspective, where am I the most effective? And any arena where I am not the most effective, I want to find someone else to stand on this, right? So like if I meet person A and I feel that person A who doesn't work with our company is super qualified and they get our culture and they're way better than me at one of those things, I want to figure out a way to bring person A into the team to, really just focus on scaling. So I want to figure out with everyone who's involved in the company, where are they putting in the least amount of time to get the maximum output possible? And so when it comes to how I'm making decisions about what I'm involved in and what I do, I try to keep that in mind. And like I said, for me, primarily that's sales, that's client relationships, that's strategy and critical thinking around marketing initiatives for clients and all of that fun stuff. It's not as much on the actual mechanics of execution side, right? Like I am not as anywhere close to an expert on the actual interface of like building out ad campaigns as a lot of the team members. I can go in and run the shit out of like Facebook and Instagram ads and TikTok ads, sure, but I would be the first person to say that any of our account managers on our team are way more qualified and way more trained and way more familiar with not only the mechanics of those ad platforms, but also opportunities that I would miss when it comes to like targeting opportunities, targeting features, etc. So if I stay in my lane and focus on this opportunity, and then I bring these opportunities to them, and of course there's an overlap and an onboarding where we're all involved together, and then we're keeping clear lines of communication, and everything is big and visible and blah, 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 and there's space to collaborate on those things, then a natural secondary consequence is everyone is able to contribute at their maximum output level, rather than me trying to just focus on me doing everything because that's how it used to be and that's my comfort zone and that's this weird like narcissistic feeling good moment that I get as I built out the ad campaign and I get to tell people how good it's doing. I think the other side too is like, I don't want to rob my team members of the opportunity to like be excellent and to grow and to learn, because like I'm growing and learning as much as I can and all of them are as well. And like you said earlier, some of that's through trial and error, some of that's through observation, right? Some of that's through making mistakes, some of that's through observing other people's mistakes. Some of that's through the whole success leaves clues mindset on like replicating where we've seen success and figuring out how to replicate that model and whatever. And so if I'm being super like Scroogey with time and opportunity, it robs that opportunity from our team members to really have that experience and to continue to build on our skill set and our capabilities. And so those are like the two perspectives that I try to keep, is like, I want to maximize time in, value out, and then I want to maximize opportunities that people have to grow. And so I do that imperfectly, right? Like we all do that imperfectly, but those are like the, we'll say, homing beacons that are constantly kind of ringing in the back of my mind whenever I'm trying to figure out, who to put on what project or whatever. And thankfully now too, like our COO and our project manager are running more of the day-to-day for the company. And they're just absolutely brilliant when it comes to figuring out like which team member to delegate what thing to, and how to really create a collaborative environment.
And looking for, like you mentioned before, where you deliver the most value. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, they make the mistake of focusing and spending their time on the thing that they feel like is the most important, even if they hate it. And then they hang on to that thing and they end up hiring people and delegating things out to them that founder actually really enjoys, but they don't want to give up the thing that they don't enjoy because they feel like it's important. But what you said was, you look for the thing that you can deliver value on the most. Like, what can you uniquely deliver value on as the founder, which often involves giving up that thing that you dislike that might be really important, but maybe somebody else loves that thing. And so they're going to naturally deliver more value in that area because it's what brings them joy. It also sounds like you have a great air about how you think about making sure that everybody on the team is doing the thing that fulfills them and that they're driving forward. I mean, you're not going to like everything that you do every time, right? Like every job comes with things that you dislike, but identifying the thing where other people can deliver the most value in, which often overlaps with the thing that does bring them the most joy, is incredibly valuable.
Dude, we try really hard to make sure, like, we've got the whole unlimited paid time off thing, right? Like we've got mental health days that we take as a company for everyone. And we try to make sure that everyone that works on our team, the arena that they're responsible for is the thing, not only that they're the most effective in, but they enjoy the most, right? Life is short. I believe too many people spend most of their life slaving away at work to get to a point where they can finally start to enjoy life, and that sucks. And so we really want to create a culture where people look forward to coming into work, and that gets into our decision making about who we work with as well. Clients, like with us being a service-based company, there are a lot of clients that we could have that we don't have because those clients would have sucked. They would have been not respectful of our time. They would have been not respectful of our work-life balance. They would have been maybe not put enough together logistically on their end to deliver us what we need to execute well, and that could create tension. They could not be at a point where they necessarily understand like the metrics that we're reporting on, and we don't necessarily want to work with anyone in that position because we want to have a great synergistic relationship with our clients. We want to look forward to our client calls. Now, of course, there's always going to be errors and things that fall through the cracks and all of that. But what we're really looking for, even when it comes to our clients and our decision about who we're taking a check from and who we're providing value to and working with, goes back to, is there synergy and respect here so that we can execute on your behalf and drive the results that you're looking for, and we can have a collaborative space to just thrive. And so we have what we call internally the no asshole policy. When we're like dating a client or a possible client and we're getting, we're seeing some red flags that they might be a little codependent, or they might not be quite put together, or their expectations might not be alignment, or if they're just an asshole, like we won't work with them. Especially being in a lot of our clients being like A-list artists in the music industry. Like I've been in the music industry full time for 15 years. And like, I can confidently say 80 to 85% of people on the industry side of the music industry suck. There's no work-life balance, right? Like it's you pick up your phone at midnight and get out of bed and say yes to your boss, and it's terrible. So like, we don't want to like give into that stigma. I don't want anyone on our team to have to deal with that. I don't want to deal with it. And I hate the like hustle culture mentality that says that that's okay. And so we really want to look at how can we find the 15 to 20% of the music industry that are great and that are on top of it, that execute on their behalf well, that are put together, that are driven by vision, and they execute on that vision daily. And how can we be as aligned with them as possible to execute on their behalf? And how do we go as deep as possible with them and who they're responsible for, rather than just working with anyone and everyone so we can say that we do this artist, but like life is terrible, right? Yeah, I don't know. I spent too much time in the whole hustle culture thing. Where, no disrespect to people that get up early. I think that's awesome. I think it's really good to flex that muscle and build that skill set. But like, I'd be the first person to tell you, like, I'm not the guy that wakes up at 5, 6 in the morning. I did that for like 2 years straight, up at 5 at the gym by 5:30, worked out till 7, came back, meditated for an hour, did my journal. And like, that's all great, man. No shade on any of that. I still journal. I still meditate. It's like a 5-minute thing and a 5-minute thing now instead of like a forced 30-minute thing. And I get up between like 7:30 and 9 most days when my body feels rested, rather than forcing myself to do something. I think that developing a good sense of self-awareness and knowing where you're the most effective is really important. And so I'm really happy that I did like develop that discipline to be able to get up at 5 in the morning for a while straight. And that's awesome. And developed the discipline to meditate for 30 minutes every day and journal, a few pages a day. And all of that's awesome. No shade on it. But I see this cyclical pattern in like hustle culture where every guru and everyone with a platform is telling you, you have to do it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way to optimize your results and your output. And you have young folks that are buying into that and do that, and they're still broke and they're still depressed and they're still miserable because they're trying to force a triangle into a circle-shaped hole, right? And so I'm a firm believer in self-awareness and figuring out what works for you and just trying to be as mindful on that and executing on that. Because life's short. You don't want life to suck. Now, if you just have no discipline at all and like you have no ability to like make yourself get up or something, then sure, yeah, it might be good for a season to go through that and hold yourself to a high level of accountability. But I don't think that there is like a, Tony Robbins structure. As someone who's gone to a bunch of Tony Robbins events, crewed a bunch of Tony Robbins events and got a lot out of them, there's a lot that I didn't like as well. And there's a lot that I forced myself to do that I regret doing, or that wasn't beneficial or helpful for me, but that it is beneficial or helpful for someone else. But that ability to kind of look at what you need in your toolbox and pick up each piece and put it in there, rather than just assigning the same toolbox to every person, I think is really, really important. So we try to do that with like our company culture as well, and making sure that like everything is kind of framed through this lens of, we really want people to enjoy their time, whether that's on the performance basis of like maximizing output for clients and all of that, but also on like the level of moment to moment enjoyment of like, we want to enjoy the relationship that we have with our clients and the relationship that we have with work and our work-life balance. And we want to be able to shut work the hell off and go spend time with our family. So we do our best to just really focus on freedom, enjoyment, maximizing quality.
I can get behind that 100%. There's a really great book called Buy Back Your Time from, I think his name is Martell. So good. Yeah. And back to the hustle culture, I want to be mindful on time. So we'll get to the rapid fire question here in a second.
Sure.
But there's this idea that the hustle culture is required to be successful and that you need to hustle in order to be successful. And I'm going through an evolution right now where I am pulling back on my hustle and just thinking, what are some adjustments that I can make to where I can take that time, like you're saying, where Jackie and I will spend some time watching a show, winding down, or just relaxing. Because before I would just rip through work until 12:30 in the morning, crash, wake up, and just grind until I did it again, and I'd get burnt out. It wasn't sustainable.
I had my season of that too, man.
Yeah, and I noticed once I started pulling back and saying, okay, how can I be smarter about my efforts? How can I pull the right people on, delegate things out? How can I not only manage my time, but manage my energy and allocate my energy and make sure that I'm mapping that to the most important things in the areas that I can uniquely deliver value? I noticed my stress and grind has gone down significantly, and my throughput has increased dramatically. Where it's like, I am accomplishing more by pulling back on my hustle, which is incredible. So, okay, so let's dive into the rapid fire question, which is, when you think of the word incredible, what comes to mind?
I would say freedom, man. The ability to say yes to what you want to say yes to, and the ability to say no to what you want to say no to. That to me is incredible. right? Which I think includes a few different, we'll say, layers to it, right? Like, there's the time side, there's the contribution side of being able to say yes to, oh, I want to buy my dad a house. Cool, I can just go do that. That's fucking awesome, man. And I want people to be able to do that. But I also think it comes down to like how your time is spent. I think it comes to the level of self-awareness, or even catching yourself having like a limiting belief or a negative thought and being able to say no to that, because you're realizing that even though it's unconscious, it's not helpful or it's not healthy. And so that's really like, when I look at like what I'm chasing, it's that I want to be able to say yes to what I want to say yes to. I want to say no to what I want to say no to. And that's both in my external environment as well as my internal environment. And so, like, I guess going back to the hustle culture, right, analogy I made earlier, if I ever got to a point where I felt like my discipline was struggling and I could no longer wake up at 5 a.m, well, I don't like that internally. I don't like the fact that I want to say yes to something and I can't, or I want to say no to being tired and I can't. So I'd probably at that point explore that a little more. And maybe I'd force myself to go into some disciplinary action there and really flex that muscle and build that. But everything, the lens that I tend to view life through really goes back to chasing that level of freedom. I want to say yes to what I want to say yes to, want to say no to what I want to say no to, externally, internally.
I love that. That's a great answer. That is an answer that is food for thought and deserves a long walk with a cup of hot tea. So I appreciate that. David, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. Thank you so much for joining.
Dude, thank you so much, man. Definitely would be down to do another one when my schedule is a bit more open. You're catching me in between a whole bunch of tours and a whole bunch of album releases for clients and some VC deals that I'm brokering and trying to, go out on date nights with my fiance in the 3 weeks I have at home. So I'm sorry that we had to keep it short today, man, but I really appreciate the time, man. Really excited about everything that you're doing and definitely excited to hang out. I'll be in your area on this next tour in October and November. So let's try to grab dinner or something.
Oh, nice. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Awesome, man. Thanks,
Cheers.
buddy.